What if the one thing she truly wants from you is the one thing you're scared to give? Not more attention, not more messages. She wants space. She wants presence without pressure. But here's the twist. She will never say it out loud, because she doesn't even know that she wants it. She only feels it when you stop chasing and start becoming. Let's talk about a guy we all know. Let's call him Mike. Mike meets a beautiful girl. She laughs at his jokes. She texts him first. She's curious about him. And what does Mike do? He gives her everything. He drops everything to be with her. He texts her all day. Good morning. Good night. He asks her out every weekend. He buys gifts, gives compliments, and tries his best to win her over. He becomes available every second. He shows her, I'll do anything for you. Sounds sweet, right? But something weird happens. She starts to pull away. She takes longer to text back. She says she's busy. She doesn't laugh as much anymore. And suddenly, she's gone. Mike is left hurt, confused and wondering, what did I do wrong? I gave her everything. But that's exactly the problem. The hidden trap of giving too much. Men are told, if you love her more, she'll love you back. If you chase her, she'll see your value. If you prove yourself, she'll stay. But the truth, this backfires, because it's not about how much you give. It's about who you are. When you give too much, too soon, without letting her earn it, she doesn't feel your strength. She doesn't feel your purpose. She doesn't feel the space to miss you. And the worst part, she doesn't even know why she's not feeling the spark anymore. She just knows something feels off. The power of absence without saying the word. Now let's look at another man. Let's call him James. James meets a girl too. They vibe. They connect. She's into him. But James is different. He likes her a lot. But he doesn't drop his whole life for her. He still works on his business. He still hits the gym. He still goes out with his friends. He doesn't reply instantly. Not because he's playing games, but because he's busy building himself. And guess what? She feels it. She thinks about him more. She checks his stories. She asks, what's he up to? She wonders, why isn't he always texting? That space makes her feel something. It makes her curious. It builds emotional tension. It creates attraction. Not because James is doing less, but because he's doing more for himself. Why she wants you to be bigger than her. Here's something powerful. A woman doesn't want to be your whole world. She wants to join your world. She wants to see that your life is full, with or without her, that you have passions, goals, discipline, and a mission. She wants to feel like she's stepping into the life of a man who knows where he's going. When you make her your entire focus, she loses respect. But when you have direction, and she gets to come along for the ride, she feels safe, excited, and drawn in. The real secret she'll never admit. She'll never sit you down and say this. Hey, I don't want you to text me 10 times a day. Hey, I want you to live your life instead of always chasing me. Hey, I feel more attraction when you're not always there. But that's what her heart is trying to say. What she really wants is for you to lead. To lead yourself, to lead your time, to lead your emotions, to be calm, to be in control, to be absent when needed, not to hurt her, but to center yourself. Because when you do, she feels your power, and she becomes emotionally hooked to it. Imagine running after someone, and the faster you run, the faster they run away. That's what happens when you chase women. And here's the strange truth. The more effort you show, the less she feels. But why? Let's break it down in the way no one told you before. At first, chasing feels exciting. You feel alive. You're texting her, calling her, trying to win her. It feels like a mission. You think, if I just keep showing her how much I care, she'll like me more. But what you don't see is this. The more you chase, the more she pulls back. Not because she's mean, not because she's playing hard to get, but because chasing flips the energy. You become the follower, she becomes the leader. And when a man gives up his leadership, his direction, and his calm center, she can't feel his power anymore. Real attraction is not built by pressure. It's built by presence. Let's look at magnets. Magnets pull things in without saying a word. They don't beg. They don't move. They don't force. They attract by just being what they are. A powerful man is like a magnet. He doesn't chase. He simply stands strong in who he is. His calm energy, his purpose, his quiet confidence. That's what draws people in. You don't have to chase love. When you become the kind of man who doesn't need to chase, love finds you. Why chasing tells her you're not enough. Here's the part that hurts, but it's true. When you chase, what you're really saying is, I don't think I'm enough. I need to prove it. And that energy shows. She might not hear those words, but she feels them. She feels that you need her too much. She feels that you don't feel whole without her. She feels that your happiness depends on what she does. And that pressure, it's heavy. No woman wants to feel like she's your only source of meaning. Now imagine this. Instead of chasing, you pause. You take a breath. You go to the gym. You read. You work. You focus. She texts you? Cool. She doesn't? That's fine too. You're steady, calm, grounded. This is power. Because now you're telling her, without words, I like you, but I don't need you. I have a life. I have direction. You can join, but I'm not stopping. And that stillness, it creates curiosity. She starts to think, why isn't he chasing? Why is he so calm? Who is this man who's so okay with or without me? Stop proving. Start being. Every time you try to prove your worth to her, you lose a piece of it. Every double text, every please hang out, every what did I do wrong? It makes you look like you don't believe in yourself. But when you stop proving and just be, a quiet strength appears. You walk slower, you speak less, you feel lighter, and she feels it. She feels the shift. She feels your center. And suddenly, you're attractive in a way she can't explain. What if I told you that your silence says more than your words ever could? That your absence, yes, the time when you're not around, is actually the thing that makes her feel more attraction, more curiosity, more you. Sounds strange, right? But let's go deep into the power you didn't even know you had. The empty space that pulls her in. Think about this. Have you ever walked into a room and noticed something missing? Maybe a chair was gone, a picture was taken down, and even though everything else was still there, your eyes kept going to the empty spot. That's how absence works. When you're always there, always texting, always calling, she doesn't get the chance to feel your absence. She can't miss you if you're always in front of her. But when you disappear into your mission, when you get busy with your goals, your body, your peace, that's when she starts to feel the gap. And guess what? That gap is where desire grows. Let's be real. If someone gives you candy every single day, at first it's fun, then it's okay, then it's boring, and soon you don't even want it anymore. Not because it's bad candy, but because it's always there. Too easy, too available. That's how most men kill their own value, by being too present. They think, if I just stay close, she'll stay close too. But the truth is, space creates value. Being around all the time makes your energy feel small. It makes her feel like she can have you whenever she wants. And if she can always have you, why would she chase you? Absence is not a game. It's a lifestyle. Now don't get it twisted. We're not talking about playing games. We're not talking about pretending to be busy. We're talking about actually living, going to the gym, building your craft, spending time in nature, reading, growing, sleeping well, meditating. You're not faking absence. You're creating it by living fully. And that's why it works. Because when you disappear, it's not because you're trying to get her to react. It's because you're grounded in a bigger purpose. And that kind of man, that man becomes unforgettable. Why distance makes her feel more. You see, most women don't fall in love when they're with you. They fall in love when you're not around. It's in the silence, the pause, the stillness. It's in the moment when she looks at her phone and wonders, why hasn't he messaged me yet? What is he doing right now? Does he miss me? That wondering, that little spark of curiosity, that's where desire is born. And here's the best part. You didn't have to say a word. You just had to live. Scarcity isn't about being rude. It's about being real. People misunderstand this idea. They think, oh, you're being distant on purpose. Nope. You're just not available to waste your time anymore. You're not available to text for hours when you've got goals. You're not available for constant attention when you're building a life. And instead of chasing her, you're letting her wonder about you. You're giving her time to miss you. And that's what she'll never tell you, but deeply wants. She doesn't want a man who always texts back in 3 seconds. She wants a man who's hard to reach because he's on a mission. Absence isn't cold, it's powerful. It gives her space to feel. It gives you space to grow. And it creates a mystery that no amount of talking can replace. What if I told you the very thing you think will win her heart is the same thing that's slowly pushing her away? Sounds crazy, right? But that sweet, I'll do anything for you energy, that you're my whole world feeling, that's not pulling her closer. It's making her lose interest, fast. Let's dig into a truth no one teaches men. Many men are taught this lie. If you love her with all your heart, she'll stay. If you put her first, she'll never leave. If you chase her, she'll love you more. But here's what really happens. When a man puts a woman at the center of his life, he slowly stops being the man she was first drawn to. He becomes soft. He becomes anxious. He loses his fire. And worse, he loses himself. She starts feeling like she's in control. And deep down, she doesn't want that. She doesn't want to be your God. She wants to walk beside a man who already has a God. The woman is not the mission. You are. Let me say this loud and clear. She is not your purpose. Your purpose is the mission, the grind, the vision, the inner fire. It's what makes you wake up with focus. It's what makes you walk into the world with power. It's what keeps you growing, even when no one's watching. And here's the twist. The moment you stop chasing her and start chasing your own greatness, that's when she wants to be part of your life. Not because you begged for her, but because she feels your energy. Women don't want to be your reason for existing. They want to join a man who already knows who he is without them. When you build, she follows. Have you ever seen how women look at men who are on a path? Not men who are obsessed with them, but men who are busy creating something powerful. These men could be building a business, training hard in the gym, reading books, chasing dreams. Whatever it is, they're moving forward. And that forward motion, that's magnetic. It creates this invisible pull. It says, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to rise. You can come along or not. And you'd be shocked how many women want to come along. Not because they were chased, but because they saw something they didn't want to miss. Let's talk about what happens when you give her everything. You buy her gifts. You skip the gym. You drop your friends. You make her your sun, your moon, your everything. At first, she might smile. She might enjoy it. But slowly, she'll stop respecting you. Why? Because you stopped respecting yourself. You gave her a man who has no center, no edge, no balance. And even if she doesn't say it, she starts to feel like the leader. And women don't want to lead men. They want to trust men who lead themselves. You were born with purpose. Don't trade it for love. Your purpose isn't something she gives you. It's something you find when you look inward. You were born with strength, with talents, with ideas, with a path only you can walk. Don't leave that path to follow her around, because the second you do, she'll stop wanting you to follow at all. Love grows in the soil of strength, not in the soil of need. And if you need her to feel whole, she'll feel the weight of that. But if you're already whole without her, she'll want to stay close, just to be near your light. Have you ever seen a man walk into a room and say almost nothing, but everyone feels him? Especially she does. He doesn't rush. He doesn't explain. He doesn't overtalk or overthink. He's calm. He's centered. And she's drawn to him like a magnet. But what is it? It's not money. It's not looks. It's emotional mastery. And it's one of the strongest forces in attraction. Let's break it down. Feelings are like waves. But you're the ocean. Every day, feelings come and go. You feel happy, then bored. Confident, then unsure. Excited, then afraid. That's normal. You're human. But here's the mistake most men make. They let every emotion control them. One little message from her, and their whole day changes. One small delay in reply, and their heart races. One sign of distance, and they spiral. But here's the truth. The man who controls his emotions controls the connection. He doesn't fight his feelings. He doesn't fake it. He simply understands them and stays steady. That's what she notices, even if she doesn't say it. Calmness is king, and she can feel it. When you stay calm, even when things get messy, it tells her something very important. It tells her, I've got me, and I don't need you to fix or complete me. That creates space. That creates trust. Because deep down, women are emotional beings. They feel everything, fast, deep, and loud. When a storm hits their mind, they don't want another storm beside them. They want a rock. That's where you come in. The calmer you are, the more she feels safe around you. And safety? That's the key to emotional closeness. Stop reacting, start leading. A man without emotional control reacts to everything. She posts something online, he gets jealous. She takes longer to reply, he texts twice. She pulls away, he panics. That's not strength, that's fear. But when you're steady, when you let things unfold instead of chasing, she senses it, and suddenly she starts chasing you. Why? Because your stillness makes her wonder. Your calmness makes her curious. And your ability to lead your own emotions tells her, this man isn't just strong, he's unshakable. That's rare. That's attractive. That's power. Strength isn't shouting. It's not punching walls. It's not proving you're tough with words or anger. Real strength is this: feeling nervous, but staying cool. Feeling hurt, but staying respectful. Feeling unsure, but still moving forward. It's being able to sit with your emotions without letting them control your next move. That's what makes a man stand out. She doesn't want a robot with no feelings. She wants a man who feels deeply, but acts wisely. Big difference. Her emotions test yours, even if she doesn't know it. Sometimes she'll get emotional. She might test you. She might even pull away. But it's not always because she wants to leave. Sometimes she just wants to feel your strength. Not strength in muscles, but strength in energy, in control, in stillness. When you don't get shaken by every small thing. When you don't argue over nonsense. When you can walk away from drama without anger. She sees it. She feels it. She remembers it. And she respects it. Because deep down, women want a man who leads through emotional maturity. She'll never say this out loud. But what keeps her close isn't your words or gifts. It's your ability to be her peace without trying. So the next time your heart races, or your mind spins with questions, or your fingers itch to send that long text, pause, breathe, let stillness speak for you. Because in a world full of noise, a man who stays calm becomes unforgettable. What if disappearing made her want you more than talking ever could? Sounds strange, right? But there's something powerful about a man who's not always around. She won't say it, but deep down, she doesn't miss you when you're always there. She misses you when she can't find you. Let's break the spell of presence and unlock the power of absence. Think about your favorite song. You love it, right? But if you play it all day, every day, it stops feeling special. You start to skip it. Now imagine you don't hear it for a week. Then suddenly, it plays. Your heart lights up. You smile. You remember why you loved it in the first place. That's what absence does. It's not about ignoring her. It's not about playing games. It's about understanding something deeper. People value what they don't have easy access to. When you give space, you give her a chance to miss you. And missing you is the first step to wanting you more. When you're always texting, always watching her story, always trying to check in, you remove mystery, you remove wonder. You remove the tension that makes her think about you when you're not there. But when you're living your life, when you don't feel the need to show up every second, she starts wondering, where is he? What's he up to? Why isn't he online like before? And boom, you've entered her mind without saying a word. Absence isn't running, it's leading. Here's the truth. Absence doesn't mean running away. It means moving forward with your own life. It means having purpose so big you can't be on your phone all day. It means being in the gym instead of the group chat. Focusing on your mission, not her moods. Choosing progress over people pleasing. That's not selfish. That's powerful. That's what makes her look at you with wide eyes and wonder. What's pulling his attention away from me? She may never ask, but she'll feel it. And that feeling, it makes you rare. Easy access lowers your value. Let's be real. We don't chase what we already have. We chase what we might lose. We crave what's uncertain. We desire what feels earned. So when you're always available, when you reply too fast, when you're too easy to reach, it sends one message. I don't have much going on, even if it's not true. But when you step away with confidence, when your time feels full and your energy focused, she respects you. She replays old messages. She looks at your stories again. She even imagines conversations that haven't happened yet, all because you gave her space. Detachment builds power. Here's the Stoic truth. Detachment isn't cold, it's clear. It's when you love, but don't cling. It's when you care, but don't chase. It's when you show up, but don't stay if it costs your peace. Absence comes from detachment. And detachment comes from self-trust. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to be everywhere to be desired. You just need to be real and be gone sometimes. Let her feel your absence like a man who values his energy. She'll never say it, but part of her loves when you're not around. Why? Because in your silence, in your distance, in your focused life, she sees what most men never show. That you're a man with options, a man with purpose, a man who doesn't need to chase because he attracts. So the next time you think about reaching out first, ask yourself, is this connection growing? Or am I watering a seed that needs sun, not more water? What if the one thing that makes her chase you has nothing to do with her at all? Sounds wild, right? But here's the truth most men miss. She's not falling for your attention. She's falling for your direction, your vision, your purpose. She won't say it out loud, but deep down, she wants to be pulled into a man's world that already has motion. Let's dive in. A man with purpose is like a train on tracks. He's moving. He has a destination. He doesn't stop every time someone waves at him from the side. And guess what? That's attractive. It tells her, you are welcome to ride with me. But this train doesn't stop running. You're not waiting around. You're not asking for permission. You're not lost. You're building something. Even if she's not looking, that's powerful. Women don't want to be your purpose. They want to join it. Let's be honest. A lot of guys make this mistake. They meet a girl, and suddenly, she becomes everything. Every plan, every thought, every goal revolves around her. At first, she might like the attention, but over time, it gets heavy. Too much. She feels smothered. Why? Because deep inside, she doesn't want to be your whole world. She wants to step into a world that's already spinning, without her having to push it. She doesn't want to be your fuel. She wants to ride your fire. Big difference. Purpose creates polarity. Let's break this down simply. Masculine energy equals direction. Feminine energy equals connection. When you lead with direction, it creates attraction. It builds a pull. It makes her curious. She wonders, where is he going? Can I keep up with his pace? What's it like to be beside a man who doesn't need me, but chooses me? She doesn't want a boy who follows. She wants a man who moves. And purpose is what gives you that movement. Schedule first, love later. This might sound cold, but it's real. Your schedule comes before her texts. Your goals come before her compliments. Your life comes before your love life. Why? Because when your calendar is full of mission, your presence becomes rare. Your time becomes gold. Your focus becomes a gift, not a given. She respects the man who respects his time. And when you put purpose first, she doesn't feel ignored. She feels impressed. And that makes her want more of you. Passion is more attractive than perfection. Here's something wild. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be perfect. You don't even need all the answers. You just need one thing. Fire. Fire in your eyes. Fire in your actions. Fire in your reason for waking up. Because a man who burns for something bigger than attention is a man women feel pulled toward. She can feel it in how you speak, in how you move, in how you say no to anything that doesn't match your mission. And when you have that fire, she wants to stand close enough to feel the warmth without putting it out. Imagine your life is a book. Is she the whole story? Or is she a great chapter in a book full of adventure, growth, and greatness? Women fall for the man who has a life story, not the man who makes her the whole plot. She doesn't want to carry the whole story. She wants to add to it. So build the story first. Then invite her into the pages. She won't say it directly. But when she sees you deeply focused on building a bigger life, she feels safe stepping in, not because she's needed, but because she's inspired. What if the one thing that makes her feel safe drawn in, and deeply connected is your silence in chaos. She'll never say it directly, but she watches you closely when things go wrong, when life hits hard, when emotions rise. She's not looking for a man who explodes. She's looking for a man who remains calm. That calmness, it's magnetic, it's comforting, and it makes her feel like she's finally found someone solid in a shaky world. Let's uncover the quiet power you've been ignoring. Calmness is strength in disguise. Many guys think being loud, tough, or reactive shows power. But real strength is quiet, is steady, is still. It's the man who doesn't flinch when things get messy. It's the man who speaks slower when others shout louder. It's the man who keeps his cool even when feelings are on fire. She notices that, and she feels safe with it. She doesn't need you to fight. She needs you to hold your ground, to hold your heart, to hold the space. Think of her like the ocean, emotional, powerful, always moving. You are the shore, still, firm present. She needs that contrast, because when her world feels like a storm, she's looking for something that won't break with the waves. If you crash with her, she feels alone. But if you stay grounded while she moves, she feels safe. She feels understood. She feels home. Most men react, but she's drawn to the man who reflects. Let's be real. Most guys get defensive, over-explain, shout back, walk away in anger. But the Stoic man, he listens, he breathes, he waits before speaking. And that pause, it speaks louder than words. It tells her, I'm not scared of emotion. I don't need to win this moment. I'm in control of me. And that self-control is rare, which means it's attractive. This part is key. Being calm doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you choose what to do with the feeling. You don't throw emotions around. You channel them. That could mean working out when angry, writing when confused, sitting quietly instead of yelling. And when she sees that, she knows you're a man who leads himself. And if you can lead yourself, maybe, just maybe, she can trust you to lead her too. Ice over fire. The surprising power of chill. Here's something most men never hear. Women feel a deep attraction to the cold-blooded, calm man. Not cold in a cruel way, but cool in a composed way. You can look her in the eyes while she panics and say nothing. Just breathe. Just be there. She might scream, cry, overthink. But when you stay calm, you send one message loud and clear. I won't lose control just because things feel intense. That moment, it sticks in her memory. She feels your emotional gravity, and she won't forget it. Don't match her storm. Master your sky. Let's say she gets upset. She says things out of emotion. She tests your limits. Most men try to match her energy, prove they're right, argue harder. But the high-value man, he doesn't join the storm. He becomes the sky. Big, open, unafraid. She might not say it. But in that moment, your calm hits her deeper than anything. She won't even understand why it affects her, but she'll feel it in her chest. That feeling, that's where respect and desire are born. Calmness builds respect, and respect builds attraction. Here's the secret no one teaches. Women can like you, but not respect you. They can enjoy you, but not follow you. But when you stay emotionally calm in high-stress moments, They don't just like you, they trust you. And once trust is there, desire grows, dependence grows, respect turns into attraction. Not because you chased, but because you stood still while the world spun. What if your absence made her think about you even more than your presence ever could? Most men believe the way to a woman's heart is to always be there, always texting, always calling, always showing up. But here's the twist. The more available you are, the less she feels she needs to earn your time. And when something costs nothing, it often feels like it's worth nothing. She may never admit it, but part of her craves your absence more than your constant presence. Let's break this down. Always being there kills the mystery. Think about a magic trick. The first time you see it, it blows your mind. But what happens if the magician keeps doing it over and over? It becomes boring, predictable, expected. It loses its magic. The same thing happens with you. If she knows exactly where you are, what you're doing, when you'll text next, there's no curiosity left, no wonder, no spark. And without mystery, desire fades fast. Time away builds tension, the good kind. When you give her space to miss you, you create positive tension. Not stress, not confusion, but the feeling of, where is he? What is he up to? Why do I keep thinking about him? That feeling makes her brain loop back to you. You didn't even have to say anything. You didn't chase, you didn't beg. You simply lived your life. And let that silence do the work. Let's look at value. Why are diamonds valuable? Because they're rare. Now imagine if someone gave you diamonds every single day, for free. After a while, you'd stop caring. Even diamonds would feel like nothing. This is why your time and energy must be rare. Not because you're playing games, but because you understand this. If you're too easy to get, you become easy to ignore. The man who walks away grows bigger in her mind. Sometimes, stepping back doesn't make you smaller in her eyes. It makes you larger. Why? Because now she has to imagine you. She has to wonder, is he thinking of me? Is he with someone else? Did I lose him? These thoughts don't come when you're always available. They only come when there's space. And that space, that's where obsession begins. Your mission makes you unavailable, and that's attractive. When you're busy chasing your purpose, you naturally become less available. Not because you're ignoring her, but because your life is full. You have goals, work, growth, passions. And when she sees that, she thinks, wow, he's not just sitting around waiting for me. He's going somewhere. And trust me, that's attractive. Because women don't want to be your entire world. They want to join your world. But if you don't have one, there's nothing to join. Here's the trick most men fall for. She might say, why haven't you texted? I wish you made more time for me. Do you even care? But deep down, she doesn't want you to drop everything. She's just testing your center. She's testing if you'll abandon your mission just to please her. But when you stay balanced, when you say, I care, but I have things to build, she respects that. She feels that. And slowly, she chases you. She won't say it out loud. But the one thing that makes her feel safe, excited, and deeply pulled toward you is something you build in silence. It's not your looks. It's not your money. It's not your smooth talk. It's something deeper, invisible, but powerful. It's your real confidence, the kind that doesn't shout, it just is. She'll never ask for it directly, but it's what keeps her thinking about you long after the texts stop. It's what makes her look at you like you're one of a kind. Let's open the door to the final truth. Confidence isn't loud, it's calm. Real confidence doesn't need to brag. It doesn't need to prove. It doesn't rush. It walks into a room quietly and still turns heads. When a man is truly sure of himself, he doesn't need to chase. He doesn't need to win approval. Why? Because he already gave it to himself. And that's rare. That's powerful. That's what she's drawn to. Confidence is built, not bought. You don't buy it with cars, or clothes, or followers. You build it by keeping promises to yourself. When you say, I'll go to the gym, and you do, you grow it. When you say, I won't let my emotions control me, and you stay calm, you grow it. When you fail, but don't quit, that's where confidence is born. It's not a gift, it's a habit, and she feels it, even when you say nothing. Women are experts at reading confidence. She may not know how to fix a car, or build a business, or lift weights, but she can sense confidence from across the room. Why? Because it speaks without words. Your eyes, your tone, your posture, your silence, they all send signals. If you're chasing her because you're scared to lose her, she feels it. But if you're walking your path, calm, centered and whole, she can't help but watch you, because that energy is rare, and rare is valuable. Confidence makes you emotionally unshakable. Let's face it, life gets hard. People will disappoint you. She might test you, but the man with true confidence, he doesn't crumble. He doesn't yell. He doesn't beg. He doesn't break. He stands still like a mountain, even when the wind howls. And when a woman sees that, she thinks, this is a man I can trust. This is a man I can lean on. This is a man I can respect. Confidence is what you do when no one's watching. Here's something she'll never see, but she'll feel. It's what you do when you're alone. Do you waste time? Scroll endlessly? Avoid your goals? Or do you train, study, create, grow? Confidence is built in those quiet moments, and it shows up later without effort. You won't need to say you're different. She'll just know. Insecurity tries to impress. Confidence just expresses. Let's be honest. Most guys try too hard. They tell big stories and they flex. They try to make her laugh non-stop. But deep down, they're afraid. Afraid she won't like them. Afraid to lose her. Afraid they're not enough. But confidence? It doesn't try to impress. It just expresses. It says, this is who I am, and lets her decide. And that's powerful. Confidence leads. She wants to follow. She doesn't want a man who asks, what should we do? Where do you want to go? Is this okay with you? She wants a man who says, I've made plans. I'll be there at 7. We're doing something fun. Get ready. Not because she wants to be controlled, but because she wants to feel safe. She wants to feel like, this man knows who he is. He knows what he wants. And he includes me, but doesn't need me to decide everything. That's not arrogance. That's leadership. And leadership is confidence in motion. The quiet man with a solid core wins. Long term, She may get distracted by loud guys for a while, the funny ones, the flashy ones, the smooth ones. But when it comes to staying with someone, she wants the man who feels like peace, the one who doesn't beg, doesn't chase, doesn't break. He just lives and lets her be part of it. That quiet confidence, that's what she'll never tell you she wants. But it's exactly what keeps her coming back. Now you know, she may ask for gifts, attention, validation, but what she truly wants deep down is a man who knows who he is. A man with purpose, with emotional strength, with self-respect, with a life. She wants your confidence, not the kind that tries, the kind that just is. And the best part? You don't need to fake it. You just need to grow it, one small promise at a time. Let her feel the man you are becoming, not by chasing her, but by becoming the man she can't forget. The man who leads with calm power and walks with silent fire.